But basically, Nate McMillan had an exchange with Trae Young and was saying, hey, either you gonna not play or come off the bench if you're gonna come back to kind of get into the flow again, or you're gonna stay at home since you don't want to start. And so Trae Young obviously did not come to that game at all. The team went out there. I don't know if they won or lost that game, but I do know they were like 0-3 this past week since Trae Young has gotten back into the lineup. And then tomorrow they got John Morant now. So Trae Young came out into an interview with one of the beat reporters, and the beat reporter was like, hey, what's going on with you and coach named McMillan? Trae Young was like, it's a private matter. I don't want to discuss it because we're handling it behind closed doors. The reporter was like, it's not a private matter anymore because you made the public statement of not going to the game, even whether you're injured or not, because normally when players injured, unless they got COVID or something, they're on the sideline cheering them on. I mean, we all are Memphis fans. We've seen John Morant hurt on the sideline cheering, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson, so on and so forth. It was kind of weird to not see Trae Young out there in support of his team in any capacity, whether that's in a suite or on the sideline. So, like I said, the Hawks are now 13-13 now. When it started, they were like 13-10. Again, they lost 3 games in a row since this past week it started. But I just want to know y'all's thoughts in terms of like the relationship between Trae Young and Nate McMillan, and just what's happening on the court right now. We do know that Trae Young did have beef with Lloyd Pierce, the previous coach. Again, a coach who was lauded, by a lot of people in the NBA. He's now actually working for the Pacers now. But Trae Young is rubbing some coaches the wrong way. Now, this is a superstar player, but just want to know y'all's thoughts about Trae Young and what's going on with his coach and team.
It seems to me like Trae Young is starting to really, really feel himself, especially being in a city like Atlanta, who, culture-wise is kind of like, I'm going to be in your face about it. And that's no shot at Atlanta because, hell, I'm here now. So, but it's just one of them superstar things. Like, we herald him as the next Steph Curry, and he's putting up numbers, even better numbers than Steph Curry was his first 4 or 5 years. So I think when you add that, you in a city in a team that's behind you 100%, you kind of do feel yourself in a kind of way. Was he wrong for not coming, to the game? Of course he was. But at the same time, you told the reporter that it's a private matter and we handle it privately. You got to respect that as well because, we got on the Boston Celtics about how that issue became public when they were trying to keep it in-house, and if it's in-house, then damn it, it's in-house. We know the reporter got a job to do, but at the same time, if we saying, chill, you need to respect us, enough to chill. But I think there is friction between, Trae Young and Nate McMillan with the fact of, Lloyd Pierce, who is doing a hell of a job in Indiana. He should have still worn a Atlanta Hawks jersey. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just Trae Young, feeling himself a little bit too much, and you can kind of see it, throughout the last few games as well, because the team, as talent, they may have a lack of talent, but at the same time, they can play a lot better. But with your leader not, showing what he just showed, it wasn't a good look for him at all.
Yeah, I'll say I think I echo the same sentiments that you have too, just in regards to feeling himself. I think he's been feeling himself realistically since going to the Eastern Conference Finals, and even prior before that. I think winning that first round series against the Knicks. Mm-hmm. I think that's when we started seeing the more, I want to say, like arrogant showboating of Trae Young. And granted, at his age, what is he? Was young, 21, maybe.
He's 24 now.
Yeah, so that he was like 21, 22 then. So let's be honest here. I'm at MSG. I'm leading a team full of nobodies, so to speak, and I'm killing these Knicks. So yeah, I might showboat a little bit, whatever. And you got to East Conference Finals, yes, but like the maturity is not quite there yet in regards to that. To then fall off the next season the way that they did. And so, yes, I agree. He's putting up some great numbers, but it's some humility as well that needs to come with that, and a humble piece of pie, as The Rock would say. And so I think that is deserving. I think that's what Nate McMillan and others, to be honest, other African-American coaches will bring, is there's a different kind of cancer that you have with players when you're African-American male, as opposed to a different, I don't see Rick Carlisle doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Like Rick Carlisle's winning games, right? Yeah. but he's not in the player's face as maybe Lloyd Pierce is for him, right? And so I think there's that to be said. Now, I do want to speak about those last couple losses. I'm not solely putting it on Trae Young because, of course, this is a team sport. DeJounte Murray's went down, and he's hurt, and he's not coming back for at least, I think, like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so whatever Trae Young got going with Nate McMillan, that needs to be minute to your point too. You know, if it's in-house, you handle it in-house. I've always been a person that says, hey, we handle everything in-house. And for the reporter to say, oh, well, I mean, it's public news. I don't give a damn. I said what I said. We're going to be in-house with it. I don't care, like, and Lord forbid if this ever happens, but if there's a legal separation between my wife and I, or we're divorced or working through that, oh, well, it's on there. Yeah, it's out there. Yeah, I hear that. But right now, me and Brown are discussing things a little bit further. So we're going to leave it on us. So I echo those same sentiments, and I hope that things do, kind of get squared away with them, that they find a mutual understanding between the two. I'm here to coach. You're here to play. And we're here to win a championship in Atlanta. I'm not saying that's going to happen this year, but that should be the common goal. And what do we need to eliminate to get to that common goal so we're back on the same page?
So a few weeks ago, a couple episodes ago, I did mention that the Hawks don't have bench scoring, and they've actually been getting a lot of production from their bench. They're just not winning games. Even the games the past week, they had who had 30 off the bench? Somebody had 30 off the bench. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, like I feel like the Hawks they need like a veteran in the locker room. Like I feel like Jay Crowder will be perfect to set Trae Young straight, because Jay Crowder don't play that mess. Like he just like, hey man, like whatever you got going on with coach, like squash that shit, man, for real. Like, cause Nate McMillan is not somebody you disrespect. Nate McMillan was a great NBA player. Like he played for the Sonics. I believe his numbers retired by the Sonics. Like this dude got some cachet. Like you at least as a player gotta understand, like, hey, I need to at least be there in support of my teammates to be a great leader, even when I'm not playing. And I mentioned the Grizzlies earlier because Ja Morant has missed games the past 2-3 years, I believe, due to some level of injury. But we still see Ja engaged with the team in some capacity. Like he on the sideline celebrating dunks and threes, or he's coaching up Jake LaRavia, meeting them at the area where they get checked into the game. Like, hey, keep shooting, you got it. Trae Young needs to be there for the Atlanta Hawks right now. They don't have time to deal with tension. Of course, it's in-house and we all can respect it, but I feel like he has to do some internal changing in order to be the leader that the Hawks need right now. Murray's not playing right now, so hey, I gotta pick up the slack right now. Murray is a new guy. He can't come in and be the leader of the locker room when I got Trae Young here, when I got John Collins here, when I got Clint Capella here. So Trae Young got to figure something out, and hopefully he does. I don't dislike Trae Young. I mean, as far as like a rivalry with like the Grizzlies, I'm cool with that. But as a player, as a person, I like Trae Young. He's cool. But if you are going to be that dude on that Steph Curry level, Steph Curry is not doing any of this stuff. I've never seen Steph Curry and Steve Kerr even have a problem. I can't think of one. I mean, Draymond got his problems, but Steph Curry is like literally the same. He's never too high, never too low. He's the same person that he's been since he got into the league. So I think Trae Young is 24 years old. He's still growing. But this is an opportunity, a new challenge for him to develop as a leader. Hopefully he does. But right now, in order for them to get back to the East Conference Finals, Trae Young got to buy in and be a leader. And I think it starts with him acknowledging that it's a private matter. Even in that interview with the beat reporters, I like seeing the whole interview. It wasn't as bad as it was in that one little snippet where he kind of got on the reporter. But I feel like that's a step in the right direction, where he was kind of like taking it like, like we good, like we pretty much okay. But I think that he has to show improve on the court and off the court in order for this to be resolved. And hopefully they can win more games, but they got to make moves for basketball reasons, not for like off the court reasons.